Hi guys, Sandra here from Creating in Spain, and you asked for another stamp making video, so here one is. Now I decided it would be a good idea to show you how you can make larger stamps without risking your supplies, as long as the stamp design that you want to make can be cut out with a die cut. So I cut these out on my machine. I have 4 identical die cuts, and these are cut out of 270 GSM card. This card came from Lidl, so it's a nice card to cut. Cuts pretty cleanly as long as you've got a decent blade in it, and you need 4 of these ideally, one on top the other, to provide your template. Now please do it out of a decent quality cardstock, because if you don't and you get all free edges and things, it's not going to be very good. So what I actually need to do is to stick these together. It's not that they're likely to move a great deal, but you know, it's a reasonable idea to stick them. So that's the back one. And obviously when you're doing this, you want to make sure they're all lined up properly and not higgledy-piggledy. So I have 2 there and 2 here. So I'm not putting loads of glue on these, just a little bit, just enough to give it a little bit of grip. And you don't want anything bulky in between there, because you really do not want gaps in between your layers. So I just got a piece of glass here. Now this was a worktop saver that I removed the design from by scraping and chemical peeling and all the rest of it. I have a piece of cellophane here, and the reason I'm using a cellophane is because I really don't want to have to lift my stamp off of this glass plate, because it's going to be very sticky. And it forms so strong a bond that, you know, just trying to peel it off the glass, no, I really don't want to bother. So I'm going to put a piece of cellophane on top of here, and it doesn't make any difference what cellophane it is you're using, as long as it is nice and flat. If you've got cellophane like this has got, I don't know if you can actually see it, but it's got a slight crease on that edge, I'm going to make very sure that that edge is not under my design. All right. So I'm just going to put my design on the top of there, like so. So my cellophane is underneath the cutouts, so that's fine. And I can just pop this on here. Like so. So this is going to form my mask for my stamp. Now, you might say, well, that's not bigger than you would normally make. And I agree, it isn't. It's simply because I don't actually need to make a bigger one at the moment. But this is a method that can be used. So what I need to do now is to fill my holes with gel. So I'm just going to go and put a reasonable amount of gel in there. And a bit extra. Put that back into the drawer. This is where it gets fun. I've just got a normal scraper that you get from the DIY shop, and all I'm going to do is go over this, and hopefully there's no horrible bubbles in it. I think I need a tad more gel actually. I'm just going to put some up on the top here. I can see I've got some holes, so I use a pin to get rid of any bubbles that I've got, because I don't really want bubbles in it. Certainly not on the surface, on the base of it. And I've still not got quite enough gel in there. Surprisingly enough, I thought there probably would be, but not quite. So just put a bit more gel. Now the good thing is with this is it is self-leveling. So if you leave it for a minute or two, once you finish scraping it, it should actually level itself off. There we go. I think, apart from the odd bubble there, I'm doing reasonably well. Okay, as long as your base is covered, then you can put this to one side. Just grab some tissue and put this to one side because it's sticky. You should be able to cure this because you can top it up afterwards. As long as the base has got the gel on it, you should be fine. So I'm just going to put a normal nail lamp over the top of that and cure it for 60 seconds and see whether it needs any further curing after that. So the idea is, if you're doing one of these stamps and it's bigger than your lamp area, you will be able to simply put it along like this until you've actually finished. So I'm going to give it 60 seconds under there, and if it needs more time I can simply put the lamp back on again. No problem, because this needs to be cured totally solid. So there's no timing involved in this. You know, it's not a case of so many seconds on one side and so many seconds on the next. You want that cured all the way through to the bottom. Now I can't tell you exactly how long it's going to take to cure that far because it will vary according to your lamp. Okay, that is actually solid. Completely solid. Yeah. The next thing you want to do is to put on some more gel over the top of it so that you actually get a base for your stamp. So what I suggest you do is just do some round movements like that if you've got a round stamp. Might as well. It will naturally self-level, but you can aid it a little bit by guiding it backwards and forwards. And all you want to do is to make sure that the entire design area is covered, so that all these bits are going to be glued together in effect. All right. So I've done that. So what I can do now is to put another piece of cellophane on the top of this, like that, and put another glass plate on the top. And all that's going to do, you can see the gel spreading out. Don't press it down too hard. You just want it so that it spread a little bit on the outside. What that's going to do is make sure that the back of your stamp is flat. It's not bumpy. So another 60 seconds. Now these are going to be, oh, luckily I didn't get the gel under there to stick it together. So I now have this, which is nice and clean. And that is the bit that will stamp. That's the bit that will stamp. Just taking the cellophane off. And here is the back of the stamp, which has got a nice layer on it. And what I need to do is to remove as many layers of this as I can. That's why I didn't want to stick it together really strongly, because if I stuck it together really, really thoroughly, it would be hard to remove these layers. I don't want it to be hard. And then I would cut this off because I really can't be bothered with scrubbing off a load of stuff which I don't need to scrub off. So I'm going to wash this off and come back and show you the finished result. So here's the result of my stamp making. Now, as I said, I didn't make this one bigger than I would usually, simply because haven't got anything I really want to make a really large stamp from at the moment. But the technique works very well. I've still got a little bit of cleaning up to do on here. As you can see, little bits of the card are still coming off, but it works perfectly well as a stamp. As you can see, it's nice and flat on the back because we put a piece of glass over the top, and it's nice and flat on the front because it was actually situated on a flat piece of glass for the base to be made. So that is a very, very simple way of making a stamp from any die cut that you might like to use. As long as you can stack your die cuts, that would enable you to make a stamp of whatever size you want to make for your card making. And I think that will actually cope with most. I mean, that's good hand span there. So, you know, it's a pretty large area that it covers, and you simply can move it around. If you wanted to make something that was bigger again, all you'd have to do is literally hold the lamp over your design until it was cured, you know, just by moving it around and testing each area. But you just move it in sections around whatever you were curing. So that's it. Please like the video if you enjoyed the content, share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, and if you really want to be nice to me, you can use the coffee button below and give me a donation to help keep my channel going. There we go, that's it. Thanks for watching. Take care now. Bye bye.